smaller bar on there. Alright, what's up guys? So a couple weeks ago I got my first ever ChipDrop load. And I waited about 3 weeks. I never used this service before, but I'm always looking for new ways to get a hold of some firewood because I can only take so much from our property here. So this is what I got. Red oak. And they're huge. I mean, that is a 28-inch axe handle. Just to give you an idea, they're big. And it looks like most of this here is down towards the base, or at least around where there's some branches, so it's going to be a little tricky to split. I took my splitting axe and put a couple whacks into it. Not really doing much, so what I'm going to have to do is I think I'm going to have to noodle these in half. So we're going to have to break out the big saw and at least cut them in half so I can start slabbing them off, and hopefully that'll make a difference here, because I need to get this the secondary driveway out of the way or cleared up, and then I'll get this stuff split and stacked. After that, I need to get my truck in here because I gotta bring down this locust tree and this little hickory here too, because the truck when it came in here, I thought they were gonna be bringing like a Ford F550, like a converted, Super Duty, but it was a straight like a 5-ton dump truck, and it was a little bit too wide to get in here. I'd say between the two areas it's probably about 16 feet, but as you can see over here, he got hung up on this locust tree. Normally I would just drop it, but I got power lines up here, so I'm gonna have to rig it up and put some tension on it with my truck and see if I can't notch it and fall it right between that gate there and just drag it right over into the wood pile. So like I said, we got to break out the big saw this time. That's the only thing that's going to be able to get those. I still have a 32-inch bar on this, so that'll be perfect for getting those in half, at least a full length. Why do I have a 32-inch bar? Well, you lose power in the cut. This is the biggest bar that this saw can pull, 76 cc's, but it does allow me to be able to buck logs without having to bend over. Plus, a long bar is going to work really well for noodling these logs and these rounds in half. Otherwise, if I had a shorter bar, like a 25-inch bar, I'd have to start on one side and go over on the other. So we're going to go slow anyway. So the chain on this looks to be pretty good. I don't think I'm going to give it a quick sharpen here. Ooh, a cobweb. It's been a couple months since I've used it, but I think we're going to be good to go. So let's rock and roll. Safety first. Always wear the chaps. These are logger boots here. Steel toe and Kevlar tongue. I've had these boots here for about 7 years. Oh shoot, even longer than that, maybe 10 years. Many seasons of yard work, cutting wood. Alright, it's been a few months since I started the saw up, so let's see how she goes. Pretty reliable old steel. Decomp in. Half choke. Hindsight, maybe I should have put a smaller bar on there, just give it a little more power. Tricky thing is that there's so much garbage like rocks and just old wood chips, and I'm getting down towards the bottom. I don't want to run my bar into any of that, and you know, double chain. So I cut it down as far as I could, and now I'm gonna try to split it, see if I can make it a little bit more manageable, because these things are freaking huge. What we're gonna have to do is put on a smaller bar, so I get a little more power in the cut. I'll take this 32-inch bar off and put a 25-inch bar. And once you get it apart, it splits pretty easily. It's just so huge. It splits. I got my work cut out for me, that's for sure. All right, so I got a plan now. I got to figure it out after messing with it for a little bit. So I probably have to make more than one needling cut, getting down to a smaller size, at least down towards the bottom, and then I can drive my splitting X in there and kind of bust it up a little bit. And then when it's in smaller pieces like that, it's definitely a lot easier to work with. It's got a little, it's mostly straight grain, at least for this piece is. There's a little bit of curve to it, but it's still splitting pretty easily. Again, that's just one round. And I've halfway filled up my 10 cubic foot cart here, so I think this is a lot more wood than I thought. When I first got it, I wanted to have the guy come back, but he couldn't, obviously. But I'm thinking that this is going to be quite a lot of wood here, and it's all oak, so I'm pretty happy. But I got my work cut out for me, that's for sure. Go ahead and put the 25-inch bar on here. Just a hair tight, because this is going to get hot, ripping these logs and these rounds here. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of room to stretch out. I may have to tighten it again. Let's see if this works a little better. One other thing that's crazy is I have 12 of these rounds. What I just busted up is just one of the smaller diameter ones, but again, I have 12 of them, and half of one of those rounds filled up, mostly filled up my 10 cubic foot dump cart. Obviously there's a little bit of space in between here, but I did stack it pretty tight. So I mean, again, that was one of the smaller ones. So with 12 of those, if it's about 20 cubic feet for each one conservatively, what's 240 cubic feet? That's over 2 cords. So, or almost 2 cords. This is a lot of wood, a lot more than I thought. When I originally got this, I was like, oh man, I wish I could get more, even though it is kind of big. But now I'm thinking it's a lot more than I thought. So I don't know, I'm happy. At least I didn't have to work for it. It was brought to me, right? ChipDrop. I mean, this is the first time I've ever used them. So I mean, it's a lot of work, but you know, it's here. It was brought to me. So all I got to do is process it. I didn't have to go and do all the hard work of cutting it, felling it, and putting these gigantic logs. It's something this big, you'd have to process it on site and then bring it home. It's already home here. I just got to split that. Rather not try to cut this the other way through here, because this one's pretty darn big. So I'm going to use something I haven't used in a long time, and that's a steel splitting wedge and a sledgehammer. Now this is cut all the way through, about halfway down, so we're starting this end. I don't really like these things, but see if doesn't work. Safety glass is definitely on. Shards of these things can fly off. Well, that worked. Whew. This is definitely the biggest wood that I've ever had to deal with. And yeah, that's why you always keep a big saw in your arsenal. I mean, if I was just running a 50cc saw class, I wouldn't be able to do this at all. Matter of fact, these things keep going. I don't know, we'll see. I might borrow my my neighbor's hydraulic splitter, but we'll see. I mean, it always comes down to how many times you want to handle the firewood. You know what I mean? If I get the processor right here without having to lift big heavy loads, just split it by hand. I think that's easier than having to cut it into chunks that I can lift that are still heavy, move them to another area, put the splitter in place, pick the piece back up, split it into a pile, and then take it from that pile, and then go stack it. It's a lot of extra steps. I got nothing against hydraulic splitters. To me, it just comes down to how many times I might be handling wood. You know what I mean? That's work too, and time. Alright, so we're back up at the shop here, but something just came in the mail that I do need. I think, remember, you saw in my other video, I was talking about how the rain deflector on my Tusca was coming off in one corner. Well, I went to my buddy's brewery the other night, and when I came back, well, I think it was the following morning that I came outside and I realized that the duct tape was still holding it up, fortunately, but the other part of it was all hanging down. So this one side here is, and this thing is still holding on good. No movement at all. So took the old one off, removed all the adhesive. I still have to go through and clean up some of the residue, but I'm pretty sure this 3M stuff here is the stuff that was already on there, and I'll just do a better job at cleaning and prepping the surface, because that was the first one that I put on. See that it holds a little bit better. It's kind of like the command strip stuff, but I believe it's heavier duty, and it's made for outdoor applications and automotive applications as well. But anyway, that being said, I think it's time for a beer. My buddy's brewery, Michaud Brewing Company. This is the West Coast IPA, kind of like a Southern California West Coast IPA. It's named after a local bike run in Michaud State Forest. So, I believe I earned a beer. That was a lot of work. Way more work than I thought. Holy smokes. Like I was saying earlier, I may have to use my buddy's hydro splitter. I'll just have to clear some of the area. Maybe just break it down into smaller chunks. I think that's just going to save me more time than having to keep whacking and busting out the metal wedge and sledge. Oh, I hate using those things anyway, so. But anyway, I think that's all I'm going to do for today. I'll start getting back at it tomorrow. Now that we finally had our daylight savings time. Yay, finally, an hour more daylight. So I'm gonna have to get at that for another couple of days. But I think in the end it's gonna yield me a lot of wood, which is good. Which is good. That's what I want. So, anyways, thanks for watching, and hit like and subscribe, all that stuff. You know what to do. I'm trying to get back to my roots here with this and do like more wood cutting stuff and just kind of like just I guess I could do axe videos again too, but I used to just do like a lot of wood cutting stuff. But I'm gonna do more of that and kind of do a little bit more of some more DIY stuff that I'm really interested in. And don't forget to check out my other channel, which is Cygnus Outdoor Living. That's where I'm going to be doing a lot of like outdoor camping in different places, outdoor activities. Spring's coming up here, so I plan on taking my my hard boat out, strapping it to the top of my truck. I do have a way of doing that with the camper too. I'll show you later. But I'm gonna be doing that soon once the weather breaks and we get some of these spring rains. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe do the Cape and River. I'm also thinking about going back up north to Pine Creek and just doing that once they get a good spring rain up there. But I got to time that out right, and I think a buddy of mine's going to be going too. But anyway, enough flapping of the gums. Cheers to you guys. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.